Hey y'all, welcome back to Neon's Movie Reviews. I'm Neon, this is my review channel. Today I am talking about Lord of War, and before I dive into it though, I just want to say if you enjoy my content, please give this video a like, really helps out the channel. And if, we are a couple weeks into the Summer of Nic Cage, still have a couple weeks to go with the Summer of Nic Cage. So if you enjoy this content and you want to see a lot more like it, please subscribe for it. But diving into Lord of War, this film is really interesting. Um, if you watch the other video, I have not seen this film in probably about 15 years. It really held up really well, but noticed a lot of different things this time. A lot of things were very different from memory, and first things first, the film kicks off with this really cool opening credit scene where you see the life of this single bullet, and it starts, it gets manufactured, it gets, drops into a crate, that crate gets shipped around, and it gets loaded into a magazine, gets fired out a gun, and the end of the opening credits is this bullet going into the forehead of a child soldier, and it's just like, oh, so that's the kind of movie we're getting into. And right after that kicks off, you have the by the way, full spoilers. If you want to see my if you have not seen this movie, you want to see like just what I think about this movie, like if I would recommend it or not, watch my other video. But yeah, I feel weird giving spoiler warnings for 15-year-old films and shit. But anyway, so yeah, right after that, you have that really cool opening shot that was featured in all the marketing of just all these bullets on the ground as the camera's panning across them, pans up. You see this war-torn town, and Nic Cage is just standing there looking at all the chaos. Camera comes up, he turns around, starts addressing the audience, basically gives some stats, some statistics of how many people are killed by guns, blah, 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 and he basically is just like, I wonder how can I arm the others? And kicks off, it's kind of him. His family are refugees. They came to America, or they're originally Ukraine, from Ukraine, and they came to America posing as Jews. And most of the family is like just did it to just kind of get here. The dad is fully committed because he likes the hat, and you got Nick Cage and Jared Leto as the two brothers. Nick Cage is trying to find kind of a way to kick life off, do something with it, and so he tries selling guns. And really funny scene. He talks about the first gun sale is everybody's first gun sale is exactly like the first time they had sex. You don't know what you're doing. It's over. It's over before you realize what happened, and you're overstressed, and you're not really sure. You're not sure how to feel about it. And yeah, it's this really entertaining scene with his first gun sale. But he gets his brother into it. They start going into the business. There's mass shootings that they're like on the other side of the wall of. So like it's really close, and it starts affecting the brother. They end up getting a bunch of coke. Nick Cage ends up getting shot by his own gun by one of his own guns. So they're just like, fine, like pay us however, coke is fine, and it gives him like 6 kilos. And Jared Leto steals one of the kilos and just goes on this massive bender. And Nick Cage catches up to him like 2 weeks later. He's like in this brothel, and he's got this like massive cocaine map of Ukraine drawn that he's gonna just like snort up. Nick Cage basically gets him out of there, takes him to rehab, and that's kind of their cycle. Although, like right before he gets out of the car to go to rehab, Nick Cage like pours a little cocaine out for him. So that's their relationship, and so gets out of rehab, all is good. Gets put back into rehab pretty quickly, and as Nick Cage is just kind of going into business alone now. Ian Holm is I guess, antagonist in the film. He's not really presented that way until later on in the film, like the third act. But he is a gun runner that takes sides. So, like, Nick Cage is like, how can you, what do you mean you take sides? In the Iran-Iraq war, you supplied both sides. And he's just like, did you ever consider I didn't want either side to win? So he plays the politics with his gun running, and Nick Cage is just equal opportunist. He's just like, you can buy my guns, you can buy my guns. So yeah, it's their relationship is interesting because Ian Holmes is like, you're not good enough, and then later on, Nick Cage is getting all the business, and Ian Holmes like, hey, do you want to partner up? I see you're not working with your brother anymore. And he's just like, I think you should stick with your initial instinct. I'm the same man that wasn't good enough for you, and I'm still not good enough for you. And so that kind of sparks a rivalry between them. There's a scene I on my initial, like, on my watch, I thought Nick Cage was the one that was responsible, but I guess it's Ian Holm. They reveal it later on, but Ian Holm kills Nick Cage's uncle unintentionally. He was trying to kill. He bombed. He set a bomb in Nick Cage's car, and his uncle goes in there to kind of wait for him to finish up something, and car blows up with him in there. And so jump forward. He starts getting in business with this. Oh, I forget what country exactly it is, but he starts doing business with this warlord, and the warlord's son is this cannibal, like literal cannibal. He will cut the heart out of people and eat them. He believes it gives them like superior strength, and first thing he asks Nick Cage is, "Can you get me the gun of Rambo?" And he's just like, the gun from Rambo 1, 2, or 3. And he's just like, I've only seen the first. And he's just like, well, okay, so that's that one. Yeah, I can get that. And so there's a scene where he does give him the Rambo gun, and they're just driving through the desert, and the guy's just firing it out the window, having a good old time. And then you see he's shooting at like families and children and shit that are just running from the bullets. They like run into the shed. The camera kind of pans, it's all outside, all exterior shots. You see the bullets hitting the ground, tearing through the shed, and it's just like, holy shit. That's the people that Nick Cage is doing business with. And the whole movie, you've got this Interpol agent played by, I'm totally blanking on his name, Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke? Yeah, Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke plays this Interpol agent who's hunting them down throughout the entire film. Always, like, he's right behind him. Nick Cage is just, always able to kind of play it off and get away with it. So that all starts coming to a head when he starts kind of messing around with, looking for stuff around the house, starts asking questions of the wife, and starts getting her to kind of help out framing Nick Cage. And, that's when kind of everything starts going downhill. It's his relationship with this warlord and everything with the wife getting involved, and so yeah, you have Jared Leto starts getting back involved, and ends up getting killed. He basically is just like, no, they're going to slaughter these people, and he's just like, we don't get involved in the politics, like, so Jared Leto grabs a couple grenades, lobs one into one of the trucks carrying half of the weapons, blows it up, kills the cannibal, the cannibal son, and ends up getting killed himself. And deal still goes through. They just give him half the payment and moves on. There's another scene where Nic Cage comes back to his hotel, and this is prior to that, but the warlord has captured Ian Holm and has him tied up inside his apartment or inside his hotel, and basically is just like, hey, let's have a bonding experience. Let's kill him together. And it's this really interesting scene because Nic Cage is just like, no, we shouldn't kill him, and he's just like, we don't have to. Just tell me, stop. And he doesn't. He does want him to die because of what happened. So it's a really good character scene for Nic Cage. But so everything with all of this kind of comes to a head. Nic Cage gets captured. His wife has kind of set him up, turned against him and everything. Takes the kids. His brother's dead, and his parents have disowned him. So he's completely alone. And Ethan Hawke has him. He's questioning him. He's tearing into him. Nic Cage is just kind of like, okay. And then he's just like, all right, so let me explain this. In a couple of minutes, that door is going to knock, and there's going to be a high-ranking general that is going to basically commend you for your service, and he is going to tell you to turn me loose. And you're absolutely right. I do supply the absolute worst people with the most powerful weapons out there. Some of those people happen to be your bosses. And Ethan Hawke's just like, oh God, you're so cocky. Yeah. And then the door knocks, and it all plays out. And it's just, it's so good. But regarding my previous review, couple things. I was very mistaken on the crazy cinematography. It's not too much. It's actually pretty traditionally shot. It's just there is some fourth wall breaking. It is Nic Cage is narrating the entire film to you, but no really crazy shots outside of a few ones like the opening with the bullet and stuff like that. For the most part, is pretty traditional, and also the meta nature of this film. I did remember it being a lot more extreme. This honestly is much closer to Thank You for Smoking. It's just gun running instead. But it's very much in that same type of tone. This one's less comedic, but still in that same type of tone. But yeah, still gonna give this an 8. This is still a really good movie. Holds up in very different ways than I remembered it from 15 years ago. Go figure. But yeah, really enjoy this film. If you sat through this, I imagine you've seen this. Let me know what you thought of this, and if you haven't, go see this. Like, seek it out. It's worth your time. But that's gonna wrap this up. Tomorrow I've got a quick little discussion review for the Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, I think it's called. It's a really long name. It's Bad Lieutenant too. That should be a kind of fun little quick episode. And then got a couple more lined up for this weekend, so definitely stay tuned all. But yeah, thanks for watching all, and stay safe.